Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
What up?
Hey, you're on the pod.
What up, fool?
So, hey, all right, I gotta turn you up. Okay, so Stu and Bert, they're interviewing us about Retaliate, right? And we're talking about
Yep.
we're talking about the cover of We Are One. And
Oh, word.
so, what? Like, did you just go to your neighbor and say, like, can we borrow your kid and have him hold this AK-47?
Oh, man. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I mean, you came to me with this idea, and you sent me all these like low res JPEGs of like child soldiers, and I was like, and you're like, yo, can we just use one of these? And I'm like, yeah, man, like those are like tiny images from the internet of real people who whose identities you can't necessarily just like copy and paste in your shit. And I was like, well, I mean, like we could just create a photo that looks like a child soldier. So I hit up, I hit up my boy Scotty, who like I know his dad had like a big cache of guns, dude. Like this, like he's just one of those guys, like one of those like swap meet like guys who's like, he's like not a Nazi, but he's got a lot of Nazi paraphernalia kind of guys. And so sure enough, he's got like, I can't remember what we were using the photo. I think we had an AK-47 or it was an AR-15 or something like that. And I'm like, cool. All right. So I got like a gun, that we can put in this photo. And then I'm like, all right, so now all I need is like a kid, like, like who I gotta find a kid, who can stand in this photo. And so there's this like legendary kid named Blake Washington who is like a kid in like he's like a kind of like a funny character within the motorcycle community in Orange County. And like little known story that no one gives a shit about is that like actually his dad was like a low key pop star in the 80s, and Blake is kind of like he's just like he was like a male model, like whatever. Like so his younger brother, baby brother, who's I think maybe like 11 or maybe 12, is actually like a kid model. And I'm like, yo man, like your brother could be kind of perfect for this. And so it's a little bit of like kind of like easing over of the situation with the parents, because I had to tell them like, hey man, like you're not gonna be in like a Pacific Sunwear shoot. Like you're gonna be in a shoot holding a like semi-automatic rifle.
Yeah, and we want them topless.
Yeah, and I was like, let's it's also gonna have to take a shirt off. And so like so I'm like, man, you're gonna need to come over, because the thing is, dude, so Big Scotty's dad, he wasn't gonna let this rifle leave his house. Like I can't just like go driving off with his like illegal weapon. And so we had to like bring him over to this like this garage in Huntington Beach, and I set up all the photo equipment and whatnot, and and then we freaking like shot this kid, and like, but the kid was like he was actually like a trained model, so he knew like just what to do. Like I showed him the stuff and was like, and he's like, I mean, he's like 11-year-old kid. He's like, yeah, dude, I got it. Don't worry. And like,
he's like, give me the gat, fool.
Yeah, like 100%. Like he's just like, I mean, like I don't know if I even took more than like maybe 50 photos or something like that, and it was just like kind of a done deal. But then I had to like obviously then like clip him out of this like white background from the garage and like put him in like a the background of like a war-torn city. And then like I went out and like spray painted We Are One on a wall that I could paint over at Hurley, which was where I was working at the time. And I I spray painted on the wall, took a picture of the wall, put the wall behind the kid in the photo, and there you go. You got your photo.
Amazing.
Dude, you should have won an award for that cover. That cover is so sick.
It was pretty sick, dude. I mean, it was a good one. I mean, the story for the next album was even weirder than that one, though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's
We have to go there.
Let's just jump straight to that.
I mean, when you borrow,
We'll come back to We Are One.
Yeah.
But Aaron,
Let's
let's talk about that.
Okay, so again,
Let me set it up. This is for the next LP, the Thorns Without a Rose LP that came out in the year 2011. Top 10 great hardcore records
Of all time.
probably top 20 thrash metal records.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was just top 20 records all time. I don't know if it put a genre on it.
Yeah. Hey, fuck Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. I mean, so you guys really just got me like perfect time right now.
Why? 3 mezcals in and fucking half a doob?
Are you driving the Bro by 4 right now?
More or less, dude. No, I'm in the.
All of them.
I'm in an Uber, but I've definitely had my night. So I'll just paint the picture of the context here. I've just moved to Portland. I've just started working at Nike, and I'm kind of in that zone of my work too, where kind of when you first start a job and no one's quite sure. It takes a minute to kind of get the full uptick into the system and whatnot. You're not really integrated yet. And I'm just kind of whatever. I'm in temporary housing, and Zach's I want to make a new record. And I think at one point or another we he told me about the theme of the record and whatnot, and we started comping out. I think I took pictures of Roger with roses coming out of his mouth and stuff like that.
Yeah, we all did it. We all went and ate a bunch of flowers.
Yeah, exactly. We took these and we knew we were doing that. We knew that definitely wasn't the cover of the record, but it was kind of maybe part of the ephemera of the record.
Right.
And and then you were like, "Hey, dude, Thorns with no rose." And I think you just mentioned I just picture an old lady waiting by the side of the road with a bouquet of flowers, and I'm like, that sounds pretty cool, man. and I'm like, all right, so what if I just shoot an old lady? And I'm like, that sounds great, but I'm in a town now where I know no one. I definitely don't know any old ladies, and so I went into work, and I just met all these people that I'm working with, and I literally just asked the girl sitting next to me, who would go on to be one of my best friends. I hey, Kelly, do you know anyone who has a very old ma or something like that, in 80s, 90s kind of person? And she was like, well, I mean, my grandma is at a home, and she's 92 years old. And I was like, that sounds like she maybe fits the bill. I mean, one thing led to another, and I was like, well, I mean, she showed me a picture, and I was like, fuck, she's perfect. And thanks so much. So I'm just getting on my cab. And sorry, totally.
You good?
Dragging down the podcast right now. So
shout out Kelly.
Yeah, shout out Kelly, who absolutely comes through, and she's like, "So what do you want to do?" I'm like, "I just want to shoot a nice portrait of your grandmother for the cover of this record." Which, I mean, we all know how it's turned out, but
we're gonna make her look like the ultimate warrior.
And she so what was really peculiar is that she her grandma lives in an old folks home, and Kelly's like, well, I can't go that day, but you should go by yourself. So I go by myself to meet this old woman that I've never met in my life, and who's it's an old woman. They have it's kind of limited shelf life on their overall activities and whatnot. You know, you kind of like get them for like, you know, much like it's like getting a professional athlete. You get them for like 30 minutes and kind of it. And like, I go and take her out and I give her this bouquet of you know, literally like rose stems with no roses on them. And, you know, we take her outside, we shoot her for a little while, and, you know, I'm like, and it's kind of like, it's sort of not working. You know, it's hard to say like what works and doesn't work in a photo shoot, but, you know, it's just kind of like, it's just kind of not happening. Like, I'm not getting the thing that I need. And I just sort of like, okay, I take some photos. I'm like, all right, these are all right. Like, and then we get in the elevator, and the elevator back to her room is like the perfect light. And I'm like standing just like right across the elevator from her. And I'm like, hey, can I just take your picture right here? And she holds up the roses in front of her face. And I was like, can you just say to me, will you please stop? And she just starts like saying over and over, will you please stop? And she just keeps saying those words and like looking right into the camera. And it's like, and I get this photo inside this elevator, literally on the way back to like take her back to her, you know, to her little apartment at the old folks home. And I mean, the wild thing about it is like what I never intended to do, which I don't think we even had the concept anywhere, which literally put the Retaliate logo like right on her face, which was really weird. But about like 2 months later, it's her birthday, and my friend Kelly invites me out, and I'm so excited because like I put her on this record cover. It's her 93rd birthday, and I go out with the entire family, and I'm so ecstatic to like show them all this, like, you know, this that I put my grandmother on this record. But what I don't know is that they've all already gone and listened to the record, and they're all just fucking horrified.
It didn't make their top 20, huh?
It didn't. It would turn out to not make their top 20 records of all time. And like they've all read all the lyrics, and this is like a pretty conservative like Christian family, and they're like, and I've shown up with a fucking framed
fuck the war on
record
drugs
cover,
and fuck you.
Dude, I'm literally showing up like I'm some sort of like, you know, like I'm some sort of hero, and I'm giving them a framed copy of this record, and I'm sitting across from this family who's just like scowling at me for the, like, you know, for what they view as this kind of like abuse of an elderly woman. Like, oh man, like I didn't intend for any of that. I thought it was, you know, I thought it was pretty cool. Like,
Well, she's still our hero.
yeah, I mean, fuck. And the record's sick, and it's a pretty unforgettable cover, I think.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
You know, that's wild.
So
Is she still with us?
Yeah. She's still with us. She's still kicking, man. I think she's 98 now, something like that.
Yeah, 99. Wait,
99?
yeah. Well, it was 2011. So yeah,
respect.
that's insane.
Yeah.
She was 91. She's 99.
She's alive and well, dude.
We're gonna
Locking to Retaliate.
we're gonna have to do something special for her 100th, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be sick.
Give her the repress.
Dude, well, no, we gotta play. No, we gotta play the old folks home. We gotta set it up.
Damn. We have to give them
Repress.
all earplugs, man.
Yeah, the book that shit. They don't need earplugs, dude. They're 90. Dude. Yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta play the old folks home.
Doing it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll make it happen, Aaron. We'll be there. I'll send our writer through.
All right, boys. 100%. Make it happen.
All right, thanks, dog.
Later, Aaron.
All right, boys. Later.
Get in here, Mark. I gotta pee.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna get in there too.
Time out.
Play swords.
Oh, time out.
This is what we call a change of plans.
Did that answer the question? And what was the question?
I think we were talking about what it was like to make coup d'etat.
We'll be back with We Are One. Yeah, so back on We Are One, huh?
Yeah, but around that point, I mean, up to that point, you guys went through a lot of member changes.
Yeah, it's interesting because, okay, so Coup d'etat came out, and we were all the same up to there, and we're the same now, right? So Coup d'etat was, no, because we had Charlie play on Coup d'etat.
Right. Milo.
Milo's not on Coup d'etat.
You wrote a couple. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No.
You're right. We are one.
Okay, so Coup d'etat was the members we have, the four of us that have always been in the band. Well, on all the recordings,
Right.
And then Roger recorded us, and we had Charlie, and then Charlie went and did the Warriors, right. And then on the second record, we had Milo.
Yes.
Wrote
a couple songs.
That wrote a couple songs,
And went to Mexico.
Yeah, so it was like it's always been Brady, Verity, Matt, me, and then on the first record we had Charlie. Second record we had Milo.
Yes.
But do we have no? Milo wasn't on. Milo wrote us a couple songs for the second record, but Roger was in the band by then.
Right.
Yeah. So we had Roger. So
drumming.
So basically, like we're still like the same original band, except Roger would be the new member. But Roger recorded all our shit before.
He was always a member.
Yeah. So anyway, but the other people we had Kyle came in and played drums. Matt left. So after Coup d'etat came out, Warriors were like, damn, Retaliate sick. We should just take all their members.
Right.
And so they plucked like
Matt went for
they took
green
Charlie.
pastures.
They took Charlie.
Yep.
They took
Mark.
They took Matt.
Oh.
Yeah, Mark, the drummer. And then we got Kyle.
Yes.
We got Kyle when he left. No, we got Roger first. We got what is that? Turn the sound off. We got Roger first on drums.
Yes.
Okay. And then Roger got plucked by the Warriors.
Right.
So that's when we got Kyle.
Okay.
Right? And then after Kyle, we got Matt back on drums.
Yeah.
And Matt's never left since. So, should we try to call Kyle?
Yeah.
It's colorful.
Let's call him.
All right.
So what's up?
Why don't you type in his number here so people don't see it?
All right.
And we'll see if Kyle has any stories about
Give him a buzz.
Yes.
See what he thought it was like.
Because I can't remember how many shows he played. Oh, the tequila has been summoned.
I'm good.
It's all left, Stu.
I'm chill. No, I'm good.
All right, let's see. Let's see if he picks up. It is 11:21 on a Thursday night.
He's a family man.
Hello.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, you sound perfect.
Hey, thanks.
This is the best phone call connection we've ever had on the pod.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, Stu said he ran into you and you had a funny story about when you were playing in Retaliate for your first show.
Oh yeah. That was great.
Well, do share, please.
It's like it's hilarious. Yeah. So I knew I think everyone playing in the band at the time except you, and I remember I was playing. So I was playing. I was practicing with Milo.
Okay.
And I remember like 2 days before the show, I just had like a bad practice, and Milo was like, "Dude, you're making me really nervous." And I was like, "No." Like, I was like, "No, I'll get the song." And then like the next day we practiced, and it was cool. And then on the day of the show, I showed up all early.
All right.
And then I
Kyle,
saw
before you get there, what is this? Yeah. What's the set list like? This is after Coup d'etat and before we did We Are One, correct?
Yeah, it's all Coup d'etat songs.
Okay.
And so I see you talking to Todd, and so I'm like, I'm going to go introduce myself to Zach. So I walk up to you, and then Todd's asking you, like, "Hey, man, who's playing drums for you now?" And you're like, "I don't know, some dude Milo knows." and then like I think Todd walked away, and then I was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Kyle," and you were like, "You're the drummer?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, and then you were like, "Don't fuck up," and then like walked away, and then
and then I didn't talk to you like the rest of the night until like when we got on stage, and then I think we played Born to Lose first, and then after the song ended, you're like, all right, you can play, and then then the set went on.
Jesus, man.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, thinking back on it, it's so weird because I don't really remember the timeline. I just remember, you came in and played drums, and it was. I mean, it was really disappointing for me that like Matt left and then Roger left.
Yeah, I think Roger was on tour with the Warriors or something at the time.
Well, and so was Matt, right? Like they already took Matt on drums, and then they took like Roger on bass or some shit.
Yeah, that was exactly that time.
I was like,
and then,
damn it, dude! Now we gotta get a third drummer after this band took 2 drummers from us, because
and then I ended up with them too.
Yeah, I know. Well, what people don't understand is like not having a drummer is what broke up my last band too, right? Like In Control could never get a drummer. No, it's not Matt's fault. Matt was 16. Yep. Matt was 15 or 16. He could not go on tour.
Yeah.
So Matt could play like local shows, but Matt could not go on tour. And In Control was not going to be a local band. Like we were a touring band that was moving forward. And as soon as there was going to be stagnation, that's when I broke it up. So anyway, that was I was a little butthurt on losing the drummers. But Kyle, I loved playing with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I thought you had a nice take. It was fun. The song slowed down a tiny bit, but in a good way. It was it found a new groove. Do you remember how many shows he played with us? It was probably 3 to 5 shows.
I think it was 3. I think I played Alpine twice, and then once at the Shea Cafe.
Yeah, we played that Shea show, and I feel like we were in the zone there. That Shea show was sick.
We found it.
Yeah, that was really fun. When I was talking to Stu earlier tonight, I couldn't think who played the first Alpine show. The Shea show was a built to last reunion show, and then the second Alpine show was the last hardcore show at Alpine. It was Internal Affairs and Violation, I think.
Okay, that's sick.
But I can't remember who the first one was with.
That was a good few shows.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then you went on and you did the Warriors right after that.
It was probably maybe 6 months later, because then Matt didn't want to tour anymore.
Yeah,
and then and then at that point, I had known Danny and Charlie, and they were like, "Hey, you want to try out?" So yeah, whatever.
That rules.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, sick, dude. I'm glad we could poke you on here for a second.
Yeah. It's a good story. I still tell the story. People who don't even know who Retaliate is, hey, this one time I played in a band, and the singer was like, "Don't fuck up."
Welcome to the club.
Hey, I just take the art very seriously. I don't.
It was the pep talk I needed.
All right, Kyle. I love you.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
All right, see ya.
All right.
That's a good lead. That's a good lead in.
Okay.
Because he played drums at that Knights of Columbus show, which was the We Are One record release.
Oh, but he didn't mention that one. He said he played Alpine
did
twice.
you play that?
Matt was back by then
Okay.
because that song's on YouTube. That's when we opened with "In My Life," right? Yeah, I'm wearing that fucking Kobe jersey, and then some motherfucker heckled me and called me Kirby Bryant.
Best heckle ever.
That was pretty fucking. That one or that one when we played the Take Offense 7-inch release show. And that fucker was like, "Hey, who's this Irish cholo?" Those are the two best heckles, and they might have come from the same person.
Probably.
They're probably both Vince heckles. They're either Vince or Guzman heckles.
Fucking great.
You always called for it. Come on, fuckers, heckle me. Kirby Bryant.
That show fucking ruled
Yeah.
because it was a new venue. That was the first show at that spot.
Well, there's been shows there way in the past, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that those were the only two shows there. Was that Warrior show and that In Control reunion show.
It was a big room,
was
and everyone was
huge.
fucking pumped. A band from Hawaii played,
Okay.
All Heart.
Surf's up.
I thought that was the show where the Warriors took their dick out and was like, "What's up?" Like we're a fucking
Band.
we're a headlining band
Yeah.
that can like we got the balls to headline, and we're gonna play a big room, and like we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
You know,
My band, my ex Malcolm X, opened that show.
that's sick.
And
Vendetta played too.
Vendetta did play.
God damn.
I got a
That was
black
a-
eye during you guys' set. That was sick.
There you go. That's what's up.
Funny thing about that show, our friend Emmanuel wanted to get into the show for free, and so he was like, "Let me play guitar for you guys." And we're like, "All right." So we bring him into the garage and we teach him all the songs just so he could get into the show for free.
That's a lot of work.
You can't just let him.
so much fucking work.
Can't he just carry in merch like a normal person?
Yeah, and we play the show. He's louder than anybody in the band,
Brand
and he
new.
forgets everything while we play. But it's a great show.
Yeah,
It's cool.
That was a memorable show.
Yeah.
But things get remembered when like someone videotapes it too. So that one got filmed. It's still on YouTube.
Yeah.
Was it fun playing some of the new songs after not writing anything for about 3 years?
Well, I remember we played Dogs of War.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Born Alone, Die Alone.
Yeah, Know Your Roots, Born Alone, Die Alone. Yeah, it's fun. It's weird. Being in a hardcore band is weird because when you do your second LP, inevitably that's the first time that you're ever writing songs where you may not play them live. Like all the way through your first LP, like all that shit is in your set list. And then second LP, it's like, man, there's not a lot of hardcore bands that can get away with playing 20 songs or 24 songs or some shit. So like, there's gonna be songs you're writing for an LP that like you're not gonna play. Now we've played every single song because when we went and played in Sweden, they demanded it.
Yeah. You guys got to play for an hour.
They're like, you gotta play for an hour.
We got to play everything?
But yeah, it was fun to play a new song.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard a lot of those songs. Question: did you guys play the Parkway Drive show that year, like in Camarillo? It was like at a ranch or something.
I feel like that was
Yes.
way later though. No,
Was it? After Thorns.
that was after Thorns.
That was like 2 years later.
yeah, that was after
No, I don't-
Thorns.
Was it after Thorns?
Yeah, so like, but Thorns came pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like we did because we took a long time to do We Are One, and then Thorns came out 2 years later.
Right. Yeah. We didn't
So-
take 10 years to write a new album.
Well, after that first Knights of Columbus show, the second one came around, which is the Icy reunion, which was sick. And you guys played that. You guys only played like a few songs too.
Yeah, we played early and we played just like 5 songs.
Yeah.
Just because it's one of those things like, you know, I don't want to get into complaining, but like, I don't know. It's like I'm in Retaliate. This is my band.
Right.
Like, why would I not want to put my band on a big ass show that my other band is playing?
With ill repute.
You know? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That was one of the greatest shows of.
Yeah, but we played early and we played short.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the compromise, but yeah, I mean it's like people still hit me up almost every month like, "Hey, will In Control play the show?" It's like, "No."
Hell no.
Like we're not a band. Like what do you I don't know, like we're broken up. Like it takes a
Sure.
long time to get a band together.
We actually missed you guys. We were drinking outside, and
I didn't miss them. Maybe you did.
I did.
Hey, well we didn't miss you, dude. That show was a rager.
It's funny listening to the live set because Ryan's like, "I want to see some serious stage dive." He goes, "There's one," and that was my dive. And then he goes, "There's another one," and that was Robert's dive.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
Well, no. If you look in the live video, you and I literally run into each
Yeah.
other and then just keep going.
yeah.
But that's besides the point. But was that the only show you've ever played where you played 2 sets?
I don't know. Did Retaliate ever play with In Control otherwise?
I don't remember.
Probably then, I guess. But I never really thought about it. And I don't know if when I was doing Somalia if I ever played. No, that probably. Yeah, I guess so.
Sick. I
That is
honestly
cool.
think that Retaliate set is one of my favorites, even though you guys didn't play. Because I feel like everyone that would have wanted to see you guys just happened to be there that night.
Yeah. That was one of our best shows. So, but I mean, that was like every band that played one of their best shows because the show was sick.
The opening Cadence played. They opened
Yeah.
that dude.
Downpressor and Take Offense played like
Yeah.
maybe a year before both of them blew up.
Well,
Yeah, but they were both good.
they were both good, and they both had releases out at that time. Like the it was that right after it was the Happiness
Yeah, Happiness Under Chains.
Under Chains
I bought the
tape got released,
songs
and
that day.
and the Downpressors Happiness
Yeah.
it was just out.
Sick.
Yeah.
That was a killer show. Killer gig.
Good gigging.
Well, we've never played a bad show.
Never.
One Ohio show we did.
Nah.
Retaliate played a bad Ohio show?
Dude, Brady, like, he broke his string there's no... Oh, broke his string. He had to change, like, 3 guitar strings for the beginning of the show.
Okay. If we played Ohio, we only had 4 songs. It wasn't bad.
He's mentioned like 3 songs. It's like your whole set, dude.
Whatever.
There's no hope.
That's just the
I had
Nard
fun.
curse. Always a good time.
All right. What you guys do?
Sound of Fury and Oxnard.
Oh, I was so stoked when it came to Oxnard.
Yeah.
Because Skate Palace is a place that's like had shows going back to the 80s. In fact, Stu, we did our pod where we tried to like nail down like the dark years of the Nard from 87 to 92. And if you remember, that was still a place that like the dudes, like the South Oxnard guys before they had their heyday in the 90s, like that was when they stepped up and like put on their own shows. So it's pretty sick. Like Skate Palace is, I don't know, it's like it's a big heart of Nard, but it's also like a weird sketchy place that fucking shit goes down every single time.
So sketchy.
Like what was it? Was it like the Nardcore 20th anniversary show was there?
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Like in
Everyone got pepper sprayed.
yeah, when I think E Control jumped on No Motive set at the end, and like it was just fucking chaos.
It was madness.
Because a lot of problems always start with like this happened a few times. Like it starts with like some fucking dude roughing up Albert, our roadie, and then like we got to kick his head in, right? Like
Elbow drop from the top.
it happened
fucking
one
speaker.
time, and like we played some like skate store opening in Moore Park or some shit, and that happened. Like Albert was moshing, and like some bro just like jumped him, like yeah, and I was like, well, Rat Pack, like yeah, and the same thing there, right? Yeah. But yeah, the Sound of Fury came there. It was fucking great. Floor Punch played, fucking great.
It was it was a great
That
year.
might have been one of the best lineups, like looking back,
think
what
so,
every
too.
band ended up doing.
Yeah. And that was the first time they introduced like the 2-stage thing. Like Nails played, Floor Punch played. You guys were going to play on the big stage.
Yeah, and there was
But-
like technical difficulties,
Yeah,
so we
and
moved to the small
I just
stage.
remember you were like,
That was like
No,
the first year
Chris.
Take Offense played.
Yeah, and it started the tradition of Retaliate playing after the hype band.
Oh my god.
Because
play after?
that year we played right after Touche Amore.
oh yeah.
Just got smoked.
You got smoked, but it was still
We didn't get
cool.
smoked. We came on, it was fine. I
I was
refused to-
going into it. It was cool.
I remember watching them and being like, "We gonna get smoked," but we didn't get
Nah.
smoked. The
legit.
the next time we played, we got smoked.
Oh yeah.
When
Santa
it
Barbara.
was when we played after Minority Unit,
Oh Jesus!
it was
Yeah.
like
It was like their last show. Or
yeah, it was their
something, too.
final show. It was like
That was rough.
okay, that time we got smoked.
That was rough.
We did not get smoked by Touche Amore, and we wouldn't tomorrow either. So it's different. It's a different type of band.
Completely.
It's completely different. I mean, hardcore stands on its own. I refuse to be fucking I'm unapologetic about it. Whatever. Hardcore music's the best music.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Some other genre can be more popular. It doesn't mean you're gonna be better. Especially when we enjoy what we do.
Always.
Totally.
Moving on.
I think it was spotty from there up until Thorns came out.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that much time.
Yeah.
Was there any other notable shows guys could think of that you played before Thorns got released?
No. Well, yeah, Sweden.
Oh, let's get
So
into
Sweden was before Thorns.
Yeah, we just had the 2 records out because they hit me up. It was funny. So for a long period of my life, I worked for 8 or 9 years for this online travel agency, and it was weird because one day I fielded like a Facebook message, and these people hit me up and they're like, "We want to bring you to Sweden to play one show," and I was like, okay, like I'm down. Like no worries. Like here's what you got to do. Like send me the money to buy airline tickets, and then like I'll book them, So I knew it was a scam. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, we fly to Sweden and there's no show, and we just turn around to go home, But like, I didn't like we couldn't get caught in a scam,
Right.
or nothing, right? So yeah, we booked the airline tickets and went and played one show. It was sick.
It was like a festival, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken, like mini fest.
Yeah. I mean, like it was a big show. There was probably like 12 bands or something. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of. I don't know that much about geopolitics, but some of the more liberal countries, like they support the arts more, and it's my understanding that they were able to like go and take out like an interest-free government loan for like $5,000 to buy our airline tickets. And,
Grant.
Yeah, and then basically like, well, I don't think it was a grant because they had to pay it back.
Ooh.
So, but they did the show and they raised the money and then they went and paid it back and like because they said they barely broke even. But no, I mean whatever.
That's sick.
Because I mean we went out and played. And it wasn't stupid. There wasn't like 3,000 people. There was probably 400 people.
Right. No, it was excellent.
Yeah, it was a great show. But yeah, they told us like, bands out like if you come out here and you headline, and we didn't headline, we played main support for a band called Hard Times. Hard Times in Swedish, and we play main support for them. But they said like bands come out and they play about an hour, so we expect you guys to play like a long set. And I told them I was like, well, we got 20 songs,
Right,
so
we played every song
we'll just
we
play
knew.
all 20 songs.
That's sick.
So we went out, we played 20 songs, and it was
was rad.
rough on the cardiovascular.
They shot off like confetti cannons at the beginning.
Like
of
right
the
when we
set.
started, yeah, it was great. It was great.
No, it was solid.
And like they're still like, I mean, Staffen I still talk to.
Yeah.
Staffen and Frederick were the two main people, but Frederick I haven't talked to him in a long time. He got like married and had a daughter.
Right.
Yeah, it was funny because they asked us like, "Is there anything you really need?" Remember? And we were just like, "We just need coffee."
Right.
And they just got us like fucking instant.
We weren't supposed to drink.
Yeah, they also said, "Please don't drink," and we're like, so we brought Gentleman Jack, like we won't drink beers, we'll just drink whiskey.
Right. We took it easy.
Yeah. Well, there's not a bunch of trash.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a compromise.
Yeah,
That's still pretty wild, though. Like, how many hardcore bands could say, "Hey, we got flown out to Scandinavia to play one show"?
There's only one Retaliate.
Yeah, it was sick.
All right, let's jump into Thorns, the 30p
Hell yeah.
or LP.
Yeah. What you got?
Well, it wasn't on indecision. It was on mind disease.
Yeah. So
That was the thing, right?
yes, Matt, get in here.
Get in here.
Okay, so this was a little okay. So Mandel, at the time, for a while, he did the label. I think it was his full-time job for a while, and then he was like the main photographer for some different like MMA related websites, and like for over 5 years, maybe even 10 years, he was like cage side of UFCs, like taking photos, and it was like
He still does it.
scale back a little bit because that sport is in a weirder place. He still does it for Invicta, which is the all female organization.
Right, exactly.
But he was working for I don't need to give the whole history of Mandel and his career, but he worked for various MMA websites. But like Sherdog's basically done now, and Anyway, so he was doing another thing full time, so he wasn't doing the label full time, and he didn't do the record, and so he had these younger kids from San Diego do it, and whatever, they put it out, and we put it out. I put out the CD, like I didn't put Camel Clutch on it. I don't know why. And then we put it out on the interwebs too, like digitally. Yeah.
Best record of 2011.
Yeah, best record of 2011, easily. Yeah. But I mean, it was a record that no one ever really heard. I mean, that one is like to the dustbins of hardcore history. Unfortunately, I think.
Dude, that was a fun record to make.
Yeah, Matt, and we got Matt now on the mic.
What up?
Yeah, I think you want to raise up a little bit, dog.
First timer here.
Yeah, first timer for Matt Anderson. And Matt was at the peak of his drumming. The drumming on that record is insane.
Great. Yeah,
a long way from the demo, to say the least.
Yeah, Matt knew how to play a fast beat by this time, and we were firing. It's the album that we're the most proud of for sure, all of us. maybe after Matt's done with all his talking, Roger will explain. Like he does a good job of saying it took a lot out of us.
Roger made me cry on that record because it was hard to just for the pre-production and just to prepare for that record. And when I finally got to the studio and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to record and lay down my tracks. And the first day, I think 3 hours went by and no songs were done. And you texted Roger like, hey, what's going on? How many songs? And Matt's having a hard time. And I broke down. It was hard because I was like, I practiced all this time. I had no job, so I was just doing my best to prepare. And you go into the studio, you're feeling confident. Then all of a sudden, shit's not working. And before you know it, it's like, wow, man, this is really happening. And it was a struggle.
Yeah, and that's so crazy for you to say that because, I mean, you were at the peak of your musicianship.
Yeah, that's when I feel like I was starting to get, because even before we recorded that record, we were playing a lot. I was practicing more. Like we went to Sweden. I felt comfortable. I was getting faster with my double bass. I was feeling more, just, yeah, it was weird. And then going to the studio, it's like you get there and shit's not going right. And before you know it, you're having that oh shit moment. And then, I don't know.
Yeah, you start second guessing yourself and so forth.
For sure.
Plus, you were probably at your physical peak too, right? How old are you now?
I'm 33.
Yeah. I mean, so you were like
24, I think.
Yeah, that's wild.
Big strong lad.
Yeah, and a big strong lad at 24.
Well, it's rough being the jump. You're the first to track.
Yes.
Yeah, you're always,
And,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and if you don't nail it all within the first 3 or 4 tries per song, you're fucking toast. You're tired.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because you're there for 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Your hands are bloody. You're tired. You're beat, and the last thing you want to do is hold up the process.
Exactly.
The record,
That's what you feel like you're doing because you're holding up as the first musician on the record.
100%. I mean, luckily for us with Roger, we've been so fortunate because he's a good friend of ours. I mean, he doesn't get paid what he deserves to get paid for recording his friend's band. But I mean, when I was with the Warriors and we were recording Genuine, I knew Victory, a friend of money, we had a budget. So I definitely wanted to make sure I was done with my tracks within a certain amount of time, 2 or 3 days. So that's always the ideal thing for me. Because I don't want to hold anything up because obviously a lot of time wants to go into making sure the guitars are good, leads are good, vocals, gang vocals. There's so many other variables when it comes to making records, and obviously the drums are the foundation. You want to make sure they're just solid, they sound good, and obviously to set the stage for other elements of the records. So, but yeah, I don't know what happened, but somehow we pulled through, and the record's tight, man.
Yeah, do you remember how long you took to track?
I think we ended up, because we did 14 tracks, we did 12 tracks, and we did the Life of Agony cover and the Straight Ahead cover. So
Yeah.
I think it was a total of 3 days.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
Not terrible. But today we did how many?
Oh shit. We got 9 tracks down for the fourth LP for Retaliate. So we got 4 more tomorrow. Also, a new In Control song if you want to. Spoiler alert.
Stu loves that song.
In my town.
In my town, motherfucker.
Launch a fucking hanky.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, cool. Matt, you got any other Retaliate memories?
Oh, man. Well, I can relate to what Kyle experienced when you told him don't fuck up, because when you give me a call like, hey, man, we left our drummer in Texas. Tour's over, bro. We're going to play the Shea Cafe in 3 days. You can learn the songs. I'm like, yeah, sure, man. And what's funny is that Verity gave me a call like, hey, man, listen up. So Zach gave me a call. Tony's out of the band. He left him in Texas. He's going to give you a call. And like, you're going to say yes.
Prepped you for it.
He prepped, yeah, it's like Zach giving you a call. I'm like 16, 17 at the time. So I'm a little timid of Zach at the time because I know he's a perfectionist and, fucking up is not acceptable. And it's like, hey, man, he's going to give you a call. You're going to fill in. You're going to say yes. Just giving you a heads up. So he gives me a call. And so we did the Shea Cafe. And then, Adam Heckman, shout out to Madball. Zach's like, hey, man, this is our new drummer. He's like, better not fuck up, young blood. And I don't think I did. That was like probably like my best first like fill-in show that I had at
Yeah.
Shea Cafe. It was very memorable, and yeah, I mean that just kind of gave me that set the stage for the more like, hey man, like you made it big now. You got to be on top of your game and just take your craft seriously. So I've always been the type that just wanted to be like a good solid musician and never wanted to just kind of be a mediocre one. So I've always tried to do my best to be good. But I don't know. I mean, for Retaliate, I mean, I think Sweden was probably the best memory of getting flown out and like, hey, we're playing Sweden. Like that show felt like almost like a hometown show, but we were just playing in another country. And I don't know, man. I think we've been very lucky to just play the music, have Roger with us, and make us fucking sound tight and just man.
Well, that was the scariest thing about going to Sweden was we didn't have Roger with us,
dude.
And like the night before we practiced, Roger still let us practice at his studio.
That's right.
But like we had the worst practice ever. So we're supposed to go play 20 songs, which we've never done ever.
Our longest set.
Like we're like 8 songs out. Like still, and and Matt like broke his kick drum, like head. So the first song,
no kick drum. That's out.
And then like something else happened. Like
Verity's bass shit wasn't working, but yet he was still playing, but we couldn't hear him. And I think you're like, dude, like everybody stop. We can't do this. Like, this is not good.
Let's just go get drunk on the roof. Let's just go get drunk on the roof and hope this plays out.
Probably the worst practice we've ever had, and yet we're gonna fly tomorrow to go to Sweden
to play a single show.
A single show, yeah.
Like, how long were you there?
We flew to Frankfurt. We had a 10-hour layover, and then we flew to Sweden 2 days.
Yeah, we were in Sweden for 2 days. Like, we flew in. It gets all wonky because like it's far, right? We had to fly from
Frankfurt.
We flew from L.A. to New Jersey. To Frankfurt?
Houston, yeah.
L.A., Houston, Frankfurt, and then to Gothenburg. Sweden. And then we got and a 10-hour layover in Frankfurt, which is the greatest 10 hours of my life.
Ever.
But a story to be told for the Patreons once it gets to 100 Patreons. But yeah. And then, so who knows? Like it was like we were on time already because we'd just been sleeping so weird. And then we
didn't sleep at all.
The next day we woke up in Sweden. We got there like at nighttime.
Yeah, nighttime.
But it was like we lost a day.
And
then we woke up. We played the show that night, and then the next day we hung out all day.
Yeah, we
spent one more night, and then flew out in the morning. We flew out way early morning.
Yeah, and I think we still had half a bottle of Gentleman Jack still available. So we got to like the taxi van came pick us up, and you were like, we still had half a bottle left. So we all were taking pulls. So by the time we got to the airport, the bottle was empty, and we were just.
Don't forget about my kosher meal.
Oh yeah. So our bass player Verity, he's a Jewish, which is awesome. And Zach surprised him by ordering the kosher meal. So when Verity was on, when we got our meals. He didn't know he was getting the kosher meal, so when the stewardess came to like present his meal, he's like, it was all like, it had like a plastic wrap over it. He had like gloves. Like, is this okay for you? Is my infidel hands gonna tainter your meal or some shit? And I think he had the best meal out of all of us.
I know, I was so jelly.
I got roasted potatoes, all kinds of good shit, dude.
Yeah, the vegetarian meal was bunk.
Fucking Zach booked that. Not
stupid. Anyways, but yeah,
that was a good time, man.
Hell yeah,
dude.
That's the best.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
what we got next? We'll see how we field it.
What do you got?
All right, sick. So for Thorns, you guys actually recorded a music video for the title track on the EP.
Oh, we did. That's a hookup from Joel Perkins.
Shout out, Joe.
Yeah, Joel. Shout out, Joe.
A good generic name, but hey, man.
Nah, shout out Joel Perkins.
That was at Hurley Studios.
Yeah, we shot it at the Hurley Studio, and I don't know if that was a Max or an Aaron hookup at the time. It was either Max or Aaron hooked it up.
Yeah,
because they both worked at Hurley sometime.
Oh, that's right. They both worked at Hurley. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we just shot it in some room, and that was fun. We'd never done that before.
Yeah, that was a good experience, especially because it was cool to. I mean, selfishly, when I recorded for the Warriors, I didn't get a lot of up close stuff, so I felt like kind of left out. So it was cool to finally get some recognition and like, oh shoot, I'm actually like one of the main characters in the video. Where it's like normally the singer, you're like 60% of all the footage that's being captured.
Well,
So
you got
it
that
was
topless zoomed in shot on the Eric Andre show.
dude.
Oh, dude, we got to talk about that.
That's we still make our money mainly because of that.
You guys played for like 3 seconds, dude.
$8.
No, that's all you saw. We played for like
No.
6 hours.
Like literally for that session, I had to move my drum set. I think like 5 or 6 times because it was like, just move your drum set a C hair to the left. We're still not getting what we need, and I was like, okay, whatever.
It was weird because
It was strange.
They brought us in. We set up.
How did you get hooked up with that?
Okay, so Mandel emailed me and he's like, "Oh shit!" It was like in that time, like the Thorns time, right? Like it was around Thorns because it was when like
2011,
Mandel wasn't
2012,
doing our stuff, and he was really busy. Like when he was doing that MMA shit, he was flying somewhere else every weekend, so he was like never home. And he like caught this email. He's like, "Oh shit, you might want to see this. Like here's an old email," and it was like a month old, and it was like the producers from the Eric Andre show reaching out saying like, "Hey, we want Retaliate to be on the Eric Andre show."
Did they want
So-
another band originally? But
No, they wanted us originally, and so
What's that connection?
what?
Why choose Retaliate?
We never found out.
Fuck.
Okay, so I wrote back and I was like, "What's up? We're interested." And they're like, and this girl, she's like, "What's your phone number?" And I was like, "Here it is." And she called me right away, and she was like, "Oh shit! Like we didn't think you guys would get back to us, like because we've been waiting for a while, so we already booked another band." Which is funny because that's part of the skit, right? but she's like, "No, we booked this other band, Retox, and but we really want you guys, so let's just see if we can boot them and get you guys." So they booted that band, which is funny because they're like a big band, and that guy's actually like a legendary San Diego figure. Who's in like the Locust and stuff, and they're like on Epitaph, and they booted him for Retaliate. I think it's just because the name is fun to say, like more than anything. Like, oh, and here's Retaliate. Like it's
Time
just
Machine.
it's a fun word to say, and whatever. Who knows? But yeah, she's like, okay, we bounced that band, so like we're recording in 3 days. Like you got to show up at noon, and we all went to the studio in. It's like somewhere in
Burbank,
Hollywood.
or-
No, it was in Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it was because it's pretty close to like where Amoeba is, and yeah, we went and showed up, and I don't know, set up our gear, and then they like had us play a song. We played Born to Lose, and then they had like the other band play a song, and I remember like we played Born to Lose, and then like the whole crew like cheered, like yeah.
They were so stoked.
Yeah, they were stoked.
I think we played that song at least 7 times before we actually recorded it while both bands were playing simultaneously.
Then they had us. Then they had us play it like they had us play it a million fucking times,
so many times,
like over and over. And then we had to hear that band play their song over and over. And then like, yeah, we did it over each other like one time, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they must have like merged the shit together. Like we didn't know they were recording the audio all those times.
Yeah, they definitely revamped it and edited it when it came to like when they pushed it out live, because I was like, oh, but that was kind of the angle that you thought that they would take it with, and it ended up working.
Well, I thought it was gonna be funny because I thought it was that other band that was like, it's kind of like a pussy band, like they start playing, and then like we like blare them off the stage.
Like an emo band, yeah.
Yeah, but like the way they mixed it, we were like equal. But it was weird when we like were there because like when Retaliate was playing at the same time as them, like you could not hear them.
Oh man,
we
took it to 11. We overpowered them, and when you see the clip and you just hear "There's no hope," it's like, oh yeah, no, we just.
You guys are way louder than they are, and then
but you hear like the violin and shit, and it's like you couldn't hear anything.
We were all so bummed because we were like, dude, Retaliate's gonna be on TV, so we all like tuned in, and then you guys play like it's literally like "There's no hope," and then they play, and then Eric Andre like runs out of the room,
and he ends up in the desert or some shit.
What the fuck? He runs out in the Joshua Tree. That's where they film the rest of that.
Yeah, but it's amazing to just see how much money is in like the TV industry, because like, okay, that is a pilot on Adult Swim Cartoon Network. Yeah, it was his very first episode. And we got paid, let's see, we got paid $1,700 because all the band got $300 apiece, plus I got $500 because I had a speaking role. So I got $200 more than everyone. And like literally, like we still get checks.
We just got one last week, I think.
Yeah, I got one for like $100 last week.
Yeah.
And but like it's not like that. That was a big check. Because like last year I got like $12.
Because at one point, I think all of our checks were put into a trust, and then it was back in 2017, and
none of us filled up the W-2.
Yeah, that was a huge check that we got, and I was like, wow, we're still doing it, man. We're still getting some royalties.
Pretty fun. But that's just insane for like, yeah, we're on TV for like 5 seconds, and that's $1,800 they paid someone. That was insane. And I remember they were telling us, they're like, well, tomorrow we're bringing in a bear. And it's like, fuck, how much does it cost to rent a bear? You know, like, what's that insurance?
Well, everything goes on that show.
Yeah.
That show's fucking insane.
They had a hype man and like a Viking woman or like a yodeler, I think at one point in an episode, or they had some weird shit going. I actually ran into Eric Andre. I went to see the Book of Mormon at the Pantages, and it was their intermission. I saw him walking down the aisle, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? My name is Matt. I was on your first show we played in Retaliate. He's like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, really great. And just walks by, just totally cool guys, man. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. I mean, he probably gets that a lot, you know, being I don't know. Now he's on the Lion King or some shit, so he's just, he's just
I don't know. We were on the first show,
I mean,
though.
how can you forget us? I mean, I don't know. We're just
not everyone's punk.
I guess not, man. Up the punks.
No.
I thought he just like Retaliate, so I was like, oh, he's cool.
No, we never found out. Like, because I asked people when we were there, I was like, why us? It's weird. And like no one could tell us. So who knows? Still wondering. Send me an email. 185 miles south at gmail.com.
Smash that Patreon button.
Yeah. We'll come back. All right, you got anything else?
Yeah, let's jump into the 3-song EP.
Oh yeah. So it just been it's funny because it felt like it was a shit ton of time after Thorns. We're like, fuck, we should probably put out something because we're almost defunct.
Yeah.
You know, but
Keep it interesting.
But if you think about that, that was only 3 years after Thorns, and now it's been 5 years since that stupid 7-inch. You know?
Hey, life happens, man. You know?
Yeah. Basically, we were like, no one heard Thorns. So can we find a label where even less people will hear this next one?
I feel like you guys succeeded because I definitely had Thorns and I had no idea Infidel came out.
Yeah, dude. I actually have it written down here as the 3-song EP that nobody bought.
Well, because Thorns didn't even go on Spotify until what, like a year ago or something like that?
Yeah. So whatever. It's cool. We're gonna re-record Infidel.
Yep.
For the next record.
Did that today, actually.
No one heard it. So
It's a good ass song.
Yeah.
Babylon.
Babylon. That's what I do now. Fuck.
Babylon.
So after that EP came out, the last couple years, like leading up to now, pretty much is like seldomly playing shows. You guys played those 2 fucking insane shows at
the Tavern in Ventura.
A year apart from each other.
Yeah, but like I mean, it gets to this point where like Retaliate becomes this like local event when they play in the 805.
But that's kind of how it's been for the last 10 years, if you think about it. Sure. Like, we play probably 3 shows a year.
Yeah. At most, for sure.
You know, usually like one San Diego-ish and one Oxnard-ish.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it just kind of works out that way. The Tavern is just, it's like a sick room that like, you don't have to have that many people there for it to be sick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're open to whatever. It's hard for, for the last 10 or more years, we've all lived in 5 different counties.
Yeah.
You know, so, because I'm in San Diego, Roger's in Orange County, Brady's in Long Beach, Verity's in Nard, and then Matt's been like either Nard or San Francisco.
Now I'm in LA County, Santa Clarita.
Yeah. So, it's to get together to practice is not easy. And like I've talked about on lots of podcasts, just because a band is not a full-time band doesn't mean it's something that, like, we take our craft seriously and we don't want to, like, disrespect ourselves by not being a good band. So we're not gonna just not practice and play. You know, like, if you see us, we're gonna be like the best we can be. So, you know, a lot of work goes into playing shows if you take your band seriously. And I don't think you have to do something full-time to, like, care about it with all you got. So, most bands aren't full time.
I'm not sure how well we would have been together if we did become a full-time touring band, because obviously you were with IC. I think at one point you were just tired of touring because all the member changes. I was Roadburn from the Warriors, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not how we would have gelled together if we became like a somewhat semi-touring band.
It was just never
ideal.
It was never the goal. Like the goal is to put out the best music we can and to be friends. Like that's like part of the reason why I stopped liking New and In Control, was because you're in bands, and when you're in bands with people, it's like it's a business commitment kind of.
For sure.
Like you have to rely on people to do things, and like it's very hard to get like 4 or 5 guys on the same page.
Yeah.
And just because like someone's a little lazy, that you don't want to hate them. But in a band, it's very easy. Like, this guy's not pulling his weight. This guy doesn't show up on time. This guy doesn't like chip in. Like, kick him out. Kick him out. And then like you have beef with someone, right?
Yeah, but you get to write a song about him later.
Sure. Or just fucking resent him forever. But these are things that I didn't want to do with Retaliate, and it's fun because every time we get together, it's like it's always a good time, and I miss them, and it's fun to see them, and then it's fun to be creative together, and all this. It's like it's everything I wanted, and it's something that I think that people should think about, like just find people that you like to be creative with and that you want to be friends with for the rest of your fucking life, and do cool shit with them. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we do. And like, that's why we have been able to stick around, why we all like each other. Right? Like,
100%.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it works. It works for us.
That's good.
And I wouldn't want anything else. I haven't wanted anything else.
Well, what's the sample at the end of that feel? And why do you guys choose to know?
West Wing. That was your call.
Yeah. It's from The West Wing, a great American television show.
Bill Murray's brother, I think, spoke.
Is it Bill Murray's brother?
I think so. I don't know. I forget.
It's like one of the guys that like died in the last season. But no, I thought it was just a cool sample about friendship. It's like, what does it say?
A guy falls down the hole.
Yeah, a guy's in a hole.
Priest comes by. Writes a prayer.
Yeah.
Help me out. Oh. Then a doctor walks by.
The priest comes by.
And a friend walks by.
Yeah, the priest comes by, writes out a prayer, chucks it down the hole, moves on. Then a doctor comes by, says, "Hey, doc, help me. I'm down in this hole."
Writes some prescription,
throws it down the hole, and moves on. Then a friend walks by, and he says,
"Hey, Joe, can you help me out?"
Yeah, hey, can you help me out? And the friend jumps down the hole. And he's like, "What the fuck did you just do that for? Like, now we're both in the hole." And the friend's like,
"But I know the way out, man. I've been down here before."
He's like, "I've been down here before, and I know the way out. I'm going to help you."
That's tight.
I thought it was sick. And like, I don't know, it's kind of like, we like to end the record on like that pussy shit. Like,
oh, dude. Yeah, that song captures what we all felt.
Yeah.
Getting into hardcore.
Yeah, it's nice. And like, Retaliate, or In Control fucked with having pussy songs. Like, I love that. Like, to have a couple melodic songs, like the heartfelt shit. That's cool. Yeah.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, and like,
gotta have a sick lead, dude.
Yeah, and so still, like, even with like a heavier band, it's like, fuck it, we gotta let a little emotion out there, whatever.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I think that record, we wanted to just really jump the shark. So I mean, even with the art layout and just the, we started to write songs that were more than 1:30. and just, I don't know. At one point, I think Roger was like, when we had like, I think for his Defined by Silence, like the mid-tempo, he's like, I think we might get sued for this song because it was so like Slayer friendly, but I was like, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Well, can we expect more Slayer on the new record?
I don't know. What is the new record?
Full transparency, there's no double bass on this next record.
That's kind of tight.
I mean, I don't know.
And there's no solos except for the intro.
Well, we'll see about that. I don't know.
You lay some solos down, dude?
Well, hey, even though the drummer always goes first when they record, your job is never done. You always got to, make sure that you want to hear what you want to hear on the guitars throughout the recording. But I don't know. Zach has a heavy hand in this band, so it's
going to be around to breathe on some necks.
It's funny, man, because at one point, because when we recorded Thorns, I literally practice 4 months, like just making my shins bleed just to play double bass at 185, beats per minute. And then at one point, because we don't play that many shows, so at one point I stopped practicing. And then one show, I think I just went single bass, and
It was that tavern show, dude.
maybe
I want to say.
it was the tavern. There was one show we played with Nails and Death Threat. I think it was in
Pomona?
Corona or Pomona.
Pomona?
Yeah, it was like a small intimate show. That was the first show I played. No double bass. I'm playing, all the songs off of a few songs off Thorns that I play with double bass, and yeah, I just totally, I don't know, call it laziness or just it was.
If you're gonna have it recorded double bass and then play it single, I think you could figure out more flair.
You definitely got to be more creative.
You have to be more creative
when you're
with
not
it.
playing double bass, because obviously it helps you get through fills more. It gives you more comfort. So, yeah, this next record, no double bass, full transparency.
That's tight.
Sick.
So,
I think that's basically
and
all
I'm
we
being
got.
handed a bottle.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, well, you guys are playing For the Children.
Yeah, I don't know if this will come out before then, so let's just say that Retaliate killed it.
And Retaliate did not open the fest.
Fucking Nardstradamus over here. Fucking respect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You good?
Yeah.
I feel well represented.
Good.
Yeah. Verity, got any closing words? Jesus, bud. I just bought that.
We'll never stop being that.
All right. Bye-bye.